Good morning, everyone. I welcome you all. Thank you for joining me this Saturday and bringing your Saturday to spend with me. Today, I'm going to talk about the confidence gap and why brilliant people they stay invisible. So, I'm going to start with a very simple question. How many of you have watched someone less experienced, less qualified, and sometimes even with less ethical work ethics are rising faster than you? And you're sitting there thinking, I do everything right. I work hard, I show up, and still I'm invisible. And if that's what's crossing your mind, believe me, you're not alone, myself including, have thought at times that how come I'm not rising? How come I'm still invisible? Am I imagining? And the hard truth that, and it's quite painful, that I found it personally, is that, success is not a reward for your hard work. Success is a reward for your visibility. So people, they do not rise because they're the best. They rise because they're seen as the best. So I'll start with something that is a personal story, and I realized throughout my journey, a professional journey, that your work does not have a mouth. You are the voice. So when you stay quiet, others they fill the silence. They take the opportunity, the spotlight, the recognition, while you stay in the background doing the heavy lifting. And the harsh truth is that being good is not enough. You must be visible, confident, and strategic. And I would like to share my story. So years ago, I was working very hard because I wanted to be promoted for this position. And I was putting hours, I was carrying the workload. I was that one person that people wanted to go. But when the decision time came, I was not even in the conversation. And it was very, very painful. And that was the time when I realized that, you know, um, I have to change the way I show up because the hard work is noticed only when you are noticed. So, how it happened was that a colleague of mine who was teaching at the same time I was teaching, we both were teaching the same course, and uh, she was promoted from part-time to full-time, and I was not even in a conversation. And I noticed that she was repeating an example of how she was doing the indigenous community artwork in her class with her students. And it's one assignment that is being on repeat. And that was one story that she was narrating it in every uh, meeting. And I also thought that people thought she was brilliant because she was kept telling that one story and she was the first one to speak up. Well, me, on the other hand, I was working very hard. I was supporting the department. I was sending my students to go out, meet the indigenous communities, integrate, create some business suggestions, business plans, bring it. And it was more like real hands-on. The one error that I made in that journey was that I believed that my work will speak for me, that my work has a weight and it will speak volume. But I was wrong. I was very, very wrong because I never promoted my work. I never spoke about it. It just went like that. So the silence did cost me the visibility. And at that point in that journey, I learned, and that was my very first wake-up call, that hard work can build value, but your visibility will build you the opportunity. So we have to understand why brilliant people stay invisible. The first thing that we have is the imposter syndrome. We are conditioned. So that imposter conditioning is something like, I need that one more degree, one more skill, one more certification before I speak up. And that comes from the fear of being judged or the fear of backlash. Like you think like, what if I sound too arrogant? What if somebody thinks I'm full of it? And we women, especially, or introvert people, uh, or even the immigrants, we have this thing that what if I say something and people say, well, are you the subject matter expert? How are you the subject matter expert? So, what we really do in that process is we take away that permission from ourselves. So, we wait for others to give us a permission and say that, you know what? It's okay. We believe that let my work speak volume. I need to do a little bit more. And this overthinking takes you away from highlighting. So you think that I just have to work harder. But no, you don't. You have to create that visibility. And that comes from communication. So you need to learn that instead of focusing, I need to do communication. I need to start communicating. Um, and I should say, like, let me communicate the value of the hard work that I've done. And that allows you to stop minimizing yourself because what you're really doing is when you say, like, oh, it's no big deal, maybe next time, what you do is you're minimizing. And it's also is coming from this thing that when we are growing up, we are told that confidence is, it looks like an ego. So especially women, they are more like, you know what, I need to be a bit quiet, a bit humble, a bit more grateful. And that conditioning then over time becomes our adult voice. And what it really does, it creates that ceiling. And we as an adult then keep bumping our head against that ceiling. So meanwhile, others that have half of the talent, they walk in, they claim the space, and when we don't speak, we give them the leverage. So what they're really doing is they are narrating the story. So that this childhood messaging makes us let others have the control of the narration of our story, which we should be telling, which about which we should be speaking. So how do you understand what is the confidence gap? See, most people, they don't lack competence. We all are very competent because we have our experiences, education. We are ready to go. What we really lack is the confidence or the expression of the confidence. So, what is confidence? Remember, confidence is not loud. Confidence is clarity. Clarity about your strengths, clarity about your value, clarity about your identity. And confidence is not shouting. Confidence is showing up. So confidence is like, I know what my value is, I know what I bring to the table, and I'm not going to apologize for it. And that allows you to stop shrinking, right? And I want you to really think of it this way that when you speak up, when you share your value, you're not only allowing yourself to become more visible, you're allowing yourself to become more comfortable, and you're allowing yourself to accept that world is not served by you staying silent. And how do you create that visibility? So there are certain ways you could do that, and I'll really recommend that you create your visibility blueprint. It should be your signature, like signature framework that you are going to use. And how it works is that first you are going to start your own story and know your value statement. So people connect with journey, they don't connect with your job title. So I've noticed that when I ask people, like, what are you great at? The first thing is that they get like this emotion of freeze. They will freeze and they can't really explain what their value is. And if you can't explain what your value is, people can't promote it. So your value statement should be basically what problem I solve, who I help, and why it matters. So I'll give an example. Instead of saying like I'm a project coordinator, instead of that, you could say I make a complex project run smoothly. I remove roadblocks. I improve communication. Saying something like, I am an HR consultant, you could say, well, I help companies build stronger teams by hiring right people and keeping the best talent. So this way, people will remember the value that you add, not the title. Once you identify your value, then you are going to learn how to articulate that value. So learn how to explain in 2 sentences. So if I ask you, can you just explain to me your strengths in 2 sentences? Majority of us, we can't. So when you want to articulate and you want to be powerful in communication, you need to understand. So you start with making your point, you give your evidence or reasoning, and then you end it with the impact. So for example, you're sitting in the meeting, you can just say like, I recommend we finalize this today. It will reduce delays and improve client satisfaction. So what you really did was that one sentence became very clear, confident, and complete. And once you learn the articulation, the art of articulating it in your communication, then you can start working on speaking up more strategically. Because remember, visibility is not noise. It's targeted communication. And when I'm asking to speak strategically, what I'm really doing is telling you that visibility doesn't mean talking all the time. What it really means is that I am going to talk at the right time, such as like in meetings, introduction, debriefs, or decisions. And I'll give you a very good example of it. Just a while back, I was with a company, and there is this new software that is being introduced. And we are meeting this carrier that are coming in. I have over 26 years of logistics experience as well, and I've worked internationally. So my colleague is now highlighting how she wants things done, and she's going on and on. And I'm waiting for my turn to speak, and I felt like nobody was giving me that opportunity. Uh, so I had to sort of kind of find a way to get in, and I just used one sentence in that meeting. And the moment I gave the example relevant to how things should be from that experiences that I have, the two head honchos were actually, they turned back and said, well, where were you last night at dinner? We would have loved to get to know you. We want to hear from you. So tell us a bit more. And that's what raises curiosity. That what raises curiosity about the value that you have to offer. So if you're being not allowed, or you don't know when to speak, or just find a way to say something, just one liner that allows you to have that expression out there that I'm valuable. And once you master that, then start building your personal brand. If people don't know you, what you stand for, they cannot choose you. So creating that powerful inner narrative, you are going to be your external confidence. Okay, so your external confidence can never rise above your internal story. So change that story form. Oh, I hope I'm good enough. I hope I can. No, my presence adds value wherever I go, wherever I sit, whenever I speak. You show up no matter what. And please don't show up everywhere. Just show up where opportunities lies. So when you keep consistently practice this, it doesn't have to be perfect. Imperfect is fine. Just practice. You will learn that your presence is a habit and your confidence is a muscle. So, what you're really doing is you're showing up, you are changing your identity. And the moment you start changing your identity, you learn a very important skill. It's called environmental check. What you really do in that environmental check is that you understand where I'm allowed to shine. And sometimes it's not the lack of confidence, it's just that you are in a place that benefits from you staying small. And that environmental check gives you the empowerment, right? So I want to close it with something that I can leave with you is that you're not overlooked because you're not capable. You are often overlooked because you have been conditioned to play small. So, if there is one thing that you can take away today, I want you to be this, that you don't need more ability. You don't need permission from others. What you really need is permission from yourself. So, allow yourself to step into the space you already have earned. And remember that you staying quiet doesn't serve the world. The world doesn't need another version of you being quiet or a quieter version of you. It needs real you, a very bold, visible, and unapologetic. So often brilliant people, why they fail? Because they decide to stay hidden. They choose not to step into the identity. And I can promise you that if you step into the identity and into the space that you've earned, the doors will open that you didn't even know that existed. I hope this helps. I do have a workbook for you. I will leave that as well, an attachment. And I wish you all the best, and do use it and let me know how things do change for you. Thank you.